Waiting for one of my platforms to come up. Don't ask me why it's not here, but I got a good. I got something good. I think y'all got. I got something that I think y'all gonna like. Okay. Uh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey Mike. Okay, you working? So, but you might want to listen. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, 3/5. 3/5. All right, so one of my platforms is not up yet. Okay, y'all, period. So we are getting ready to talk about Gilgamesh, all right? And so, if you know anything about Gilgamesh, then y'all come and tell me. Because first and foremost, what I'm about to do is figure out some shit, okay? So, and y'all tell me, all right, because it's not adding up. So as people, right, we have to go into wholeness. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Okay, so we still waiting on Twitch to come up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all are here with me. Welcome to Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Okay, and period. All right, so the story of Gilgamesh, and I'm gonna use AI for this, and then we can actually, I'm gonna use AI and Google, okay? So if y'all got a problem with AI, then guess what? Too bad, so sad, sorry about your luck. I like AI for everything that it does, but I do also know that AI lies. So this is why we're gonna cross-reference with Google, but also we can cross-reference with y'all, because I don't wanna argue, but I feel like I can argue, okay? All right, now, here we are. So the story goes, who is Gilgamesh? Gilgamesh is a central figure of the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest surviving stories on Earth. But deeper than that, he represents the original initiate. He's the human who awakened to his own spiritual hunger. He discovered that physical strength means nothing if the soul is weak. Y'all strong ass men. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be real physical strong, but y'all souls inside be nasty, okay? Because, blame your mama. And if you don't like that, tell her call me. I'll tell her, all right? Because, again, I don't like to argue, but today I feel it in my spirit. And I'm going to do it in a good, healthy way. Cuss your ass out, all right? Period. All right. So, because some of this shit, is cuss worthy. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Grand Rising. Bismillah is the beginning. All right? All right. So in order to know who we are, we might have to travel back, but also it's already within us. DNA. We're already encoded. All right. So he discovered that physical strength means nothing if the soul is weak. The journey from ego to enlightenment. Gilgamesh starts as a powerful but arrogant king. Kind of remind y'all of anybody? Maybe you, your daddy, your great granddaddy, your daddy. Anyway, anywho, I ain't judging. I love it. But anyway, Gilgamesh starts as a powerful but arrogant king. Only through loss, grief, and self-reflection does he evolve. But mind you, some of these niggas, as they sinking and spiraling, they be talking shit. But meanwhile, we don't give a fuck. If you don't give a fuck like we don't give a fuck, cause bitch, when God send me, I'ma do the job. And whether or not you like it or not, the job is getting done. Okay. Either way, the archetype of the shadow and the higher self. All right? Enkidu, I might have butchered that name, but that's what his name is for here, for all intents purposes. His wild companion, or her, all right, symbolizes the natural, untamed spirit. Their relationship is, in reality, is a reflection of our human side, our divine side. The ancient source of immortality, not literal immortality, but the awakening of eternal consciousness, the soul that never dies. So why Gilgamesh matters to light workers. Gilgamesh's story comes hidden with hidden codes from pre-recorded times. The flood story predates biblical texts. The quest for eternal life mirrors ancient mystery school teachings. The journey through the underworld is symbolic of shadow work. The divine feminine presence, Ishtar, Sidori, marks the rebalance of energies. It is the blueprint of human evolution in a story, right? So then, something that they didn't want to say. This is what they told Gilgamesh. Because Gilgamesh apparently was 2/3 of a man, okay? He was born of the goddess and a human king. His mother, Ninsun, was a goddess. His father, definitely probably about to fuck this up, Lagalabanda, was a mortal king. So his ancients expressed this: 2 parts divine essence from his mother's lineage, 1 part mortal essence from his father. This wasn't meant to be genetic math. It is a way of saying he carried more soul consciousness than the average human. Well, they saying it is not genetic math, but do y'all keep noticing how in history, or, you know, the way they're programming the AI, it keeps wanting to be biased, right? So as we know, as we grow for spirituality is coming into wholeness, into oneself, right? Learning who we are, the journey of us. We, you know, hey, Mr. Steele, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hey, Miss Kelly, thank you. Tommy, hi, welcome. Are you okay? You look very... First and foremost, I'm not even going to feed into you, because guess what? Is your mother okay? Because I'm sure bloat is just the least of her worries, okay? Either way, somebody get them out of here, because I ain't got time. All right? So we gonna act like, you know, because I said, if you want to argue, I will. But I'm going to argue with you after the message. I ain't going to argue with you right now. I'm going to just put you on, shut your ass up, okay? And call your mother, like I said, because y'all be coming in here with the troll energy, and it just lets me know that your mother probably didn't love you. And so you're mad because she didn't hug you. So you want to come over here to a mom that hugs. I hug my kids every day, the ones that are around, okay? So sorry, but I ain't fucking with you. So we gonna kick your ass out. Talking about, am I okay? I look bloated, is what he said. Boy, if you don't go on, I'm in better shape than I ever been. I done been up singing and dancing and everything else. So let's get you going, because you stupid. Let's put them in timeout, because they dumb. Period. Ejected your ass. Okay. Now, back to the message. Throughout time and throughout history, or right even now, it wants to be biased. So they called this man, and they said, because I don't want to get it wrong, 2/3 of a man. Does that remind y'all of anything? Because as soon as I heard it, it reminded me of when they just did some stuff. And mind you, we're dealing with this in 2025. So historically in the United States, enslaved black people were counted as 3/5 of a person for political representation, not purpose. Okay, so what does that even mean? Right? because I'm confused. If you're counting us as 3/5 of a person and not as a whole person, what does the rest of it equate to? And mind you, something is already going on, y'all, because the energy yesterday was messed up, and now this is having an issue. Damn, I thought the same thing about that comment. Mr. Steele, fuck them. We don't care about them people. These people be so mad. They be coming in here. They come to watch me every day. They come over here and troll me. So apparently I'm doing something right. I ain't got time for them. So all I do is get them gone, and that's it. All right, so here's the clearest truth about 3/5 of a person without distortion, without myths, and without spiritual confusion. 3/5 of a person really meant it did not describe a human being. So what are they describing? It did not say black people were less than human. Well, what does it say? It did not describe biological spirit, soul, or essence. How is it not? So I want to know, and everybody here can, chime in, because this is right now a learning experience for me, and I'm going to be the student and y'all can be the teachers. Because as of now, when I'm teaching spirituality, it's wholeness. You can't say that a person is this and then not explain where that comes from or the rest of it. So it says it was a formula, not a belief about humanity. The Constitution used a fraction to decide how many seats each state got in the House of Representatives. Okay, so again, I know I'm a whole person. So you mean to tell me that I'm a whole person, but it's going to take 6 of us? How many niggas does it take to change a light bulb? Is that what you're trying to say? Because I'm confused. Again, our message starts to say, physical strength means nothing if the soul is weak. All right, that also sounds like a disconnection. Because if the soul is weak, that means that there's no strength there. But mind you, the men are always... So yesterday, there was a thing that happened, and somebody did a poll, right? And again, I ain't talking about y'all men. I love y'all, but y'all getting a bad rap right now because all of y'all are looking real, whatever it is. And there's a lot of men that are teaching and talking and everything else, but it don't seem like it's bearing any fruit. And if they consider okay, you get paid on social media and everything else, then that's also a part of, the, what shows. But we talking about inside out. And so from the inside out, something is happening. So the poll yesterday that they did was, they asked all the women, they said, would y'all live on a planet with nothing but women? Do you know that every woman on that poll said yes? Every woman. You know they asked the men the same exact thing? And do y'all want to know what the men said? So I'm going to just take a poll right here. All the ladies right now, just all the women, would you live on a planet with all women? I would like to know. I'm going to just go ahead and say that y'all probably all said yes. Men, answer the question. Would y'all live on a planet with all men? I'm sure y'all answered the same way they said. They said hell no. Is it not funny that all the men said they would not live on a planet with nothing but men, but all the women are trying to run away from y'all? Like a lot of the spiritual women, a lot of the women in general, period, every one of us knows that the problems that are being committed are because of the men. If the women lived in a community, in a realm where there was nothing but women, we don't have to worry about being touched, we don't have to worry about any of that without y'all. That is crazy. But mind you, it's very informative. So y'all mean to tell us that y'all can't live nowhere without us, but y'all also don't know how to treat us? I mean, let that sizzle in your spirit just a little bit, because to me, it says a lot. And I don't know what it says to y'all. Mr. Steele over here, he said, no, I would not. Can y'all, like, somebody enlighten me as to why do y'all think that is? Why do y'all think that all of the women will run from the hills if they made a central location for all the women to say that, y'all, this is where the women are going to be. This is what we set up. This is how we do it. All the women would run there, and somehow y'all would be left to y'all own devices, but y'all wouldn't like it either. I mean, y'all can chime in at any point in time, because this seems to be a very good conversation, very enlightening. Because why would y'all not? What y'all say that y'all run the world, y'all rule the world, y'all so big and strong and all of this other good stuff, but why would y'all not want to live where y'all are? But mind y'all, in this realm, I done heard many men say that they need to have boy time, men time. So we gonna give it to y'all 110%, and y'all mean to tell me y'all don't like it? I'm confused. So it keeps being a thing, because as we keep learning, or as I keep learning, and as I keep growing, and they keep dropping stuff in my spirit, it's not adding up. It's not adding up about the Eden, the Garden of Eden. It's not adding up about how society and humanity began. It's just not adding up, because remember, we also talked about the beginning, Adam and Eve, and Cain and Abel. And if Cain, because it just keeps being a thing, and I need answers. This is why I said I'm sitting in front of y'all, but anybody out there with some answers that would like to enlighten me, that could, give me the conversation, please do so. Because Adam and Eve existed, and they try to give you this story that Eve was created from Adam's rib. Meanwhile, ain't nary nigga on earth, no male DNA producing no nothing. And whether or not it was a story or not, do y'all not understand how messed up of a story it is? A vagina brings forth life, not a rib. These things seem to keep, just going over people's heads. But here we are in 2025 having to go over how man is created. And it wasn't no rib. And then we go into, and mind you, I ain't saying nothing, but I'm saying something because I'm tired of the lies. And somebody need to, come to the front, talk to me real quick, all right? Because, again, I'm being a student. These are my real questions. These are my questions. Please and thank you. Like, drop the truth on me if you can, because I'm getting ready to run it down to you, okay? So then we go in from a rib being, obstructed and pulled out, and then a lady existing, right? So then Adam and Eve are the only two people on this earth, is what they said. And then the story goes that they, knew each other, and then Cain and Abel came about, right? So if Cain and Abel came about and there was nobody else, the next story begins where Cain slew Abel because. So that means that Cain killed his brother. The brother is dead. Now, am I missing something? Because let's also Google. I want to know, because, again, I'm learning. I just need to know the answer. All right, so Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Right? And so where did the wives come from? Right? Because I just want to know. Because, again, they keep telling us about creation and things of that nature, but There are stories that are being told and documents and files and things of that nature that are being released from as early as 1438 is what I seen, or predating even before that, but just information that apparently somebody was documenting, and something's not adding up. And in order for us to know the real truth and really actually deal with whatever this time is right now, we have to know some answers, right? All right, so let's see what it say. It said Genesis, Adam and Eve had many sons and daughters, not just Cain and Abel and Seth. Okay, Adam had other sons and daughters. That means that Cain and Abel already had sisters born to Adam and Eve. They married their sisters. That's not really a big, mind-blowing situation, because we have known that over time in history, right, that they thought that going back into the original DNA created a pure bloodline, right? Right. But let me tell you something about black people, and little do y'all know. And I ain't going to be the spokesperson but for all black people, but I'm going to just be the spokesperson for my generation of black people, right? We don't do that. Like, ain't nothing in my DNA telling me that I should look at my brother in a way that, is that. But if that's the way it populated, then okay. But will, for peak's sake, because that's what I would think anyway, like it would have to have been that, because when God said go forth and multiply, like who we multiplying with, God? So now we're going to say that God condoned brother and sister. That's what that say. And if it's a lie, I didn't tell it. I'm just trying to figure it out in my brain, because literally I keep going back to the beginning of the stories, and whether or not that happened really wasn't the biggest part of where I was going with this. I just was trying to figure out that when they told me something about there being another Enoch, where did he come from and where was the story going? So they said, but mind you, they didn't say that Cain left with anybody. So there's a lot of the stories that could be left out, right? And I get that, right? Good morning, Katrina. Katrina said, I'm going to move where is Kelly? Kelly lives. I need to be Friday right now. Oh, she lives in where you live at? New Zealand? I think that's where she live at. Wholeness relates directly to the ability to know and understand the entire inner workings of who you are, who you really are, according to your emotional, mentally, and towards your physical. So that means that in order for me to know everything about me, I have to know everything about me. And you can't give me half a story and say that this is your story, and like I need some more, right? And that's why I said I'm being a student today. So if there's anything that I say that's wrong and you are a scholar, come on in here, because literally I'm gonna check it, because I need to know. All right? So I'm actually the student today, all right? All right, so let's go. They said, because an opportunity to live in an all men's world is not and could not be completely be a productive environment. Well, guess what? To live in a woman's one, it is. You want to know why? Because all we would have to have is, a few pregnant ones, and then, we start regenerating the way that we need to, and then now we could keep an eye on the kids the way that it needs to be, and it would just be the moms and, the family and this, that, and the third. So now, how they say train up a child, we'll make sure that they get trained up properly. So eventually there will be men in the society, but we just gonna leave y'all asses where the hell y'all like to be. Okay, so if it was up to me and God said, if you build it, they will come, nigga, y'all ass is good as gone. Okay, because from what I see and everything that y'all are doing, it's a whole lot of nothing. Y'all not stopping the women from being assaulted. Y'all not stopping, and y'all just not doing a whole lot of nothing. All y'all out here doing is saying, it's more of us than it is of y'all, so we should just have multiple ones, and we should just be doing all, like, to me, like, I don't give a fuck what y'all say. All y'all prove to us and show us is, this is what y'all do. Now, if it happened again and then the women are, in control of whatever, because this is another thing. I told y'all, it is a thing of sometimes we just have to think, for ourselves, right? And if the women are all trying to tell y'all the same exact thing, that there's issues happening, sir, stuff is going awry, like, I would start to listen if I was y'all. And again, I love y'all. I love a lot of y'all because all of y'all are not the same. But the majority, if we had to say, like, if we going to have to throw the whole thing away, if the majority comes out to be, this, I feel like y'all would be in danger, real bad if we had to say, like, let's find at least how many men is on earth, depending upon how many men is on earth, give us 1,000 of them, right? Y'all might be in danger like a motherfucker. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. He said, because an opportunity to live in an all men's world is not and could not completely be productive environment. Dear, I can't explain the mystery of life's beginnings nor its purposeful beginnings. Or who or what lies are being circulated. The real answer is in the author of the universe. And that's period. And I told y'all, God is in control of everything. And I keep saying that. And so whether or not this is being revealed or that's being revealed, again, I just have questions because I'm starting to wonder. Remember, I kept asking for Cain, like, where is Cain? I need to know because, something is happening. I need to know. And so then I got redirected over here. But now we talking about the percentage of a person. And so if Gilgamesh was a percentage of a person, this and this, and then you got this and this as it keeps being some stuff that's not fully there, and I need the full answer in order to do what I'm about to do next. Okay, so that's the reason why this is even a thing for me, because there's something that I want to do and I need to make sure that it's all the way right. Okay, so anyway, so in the end of time, we never know. So do y'all think that we'll never, ever, ever really know? There's really never a way for us to get the documentation or anything else pertaining to any of the stuff that, could be questionable, right? Because maybe we will never know. But what if we already do? That's the thing. And so, but you're an American, and as a Black American, you have to, and see, that's even questionable. That's even questionable too. Because from the things that I'm starting to see and the way it's lining up, even where they said this was or that was, it's just not adding up. So do we even really know those facts? Concede to the fact that your ancestors, slaves in America, were bred like cattle and dogs to produce specific traits. But what if my ancestors were never slaves? That's also another thing. Because depending upon, what part in time, like there's documentation that says this happened. Because I got stuff that's written down in my ancestry that show me, this person came from here. And they wasn't on no, slave ship, but they was on a ship, all right? But they volunteered. Either way, that just depends on if that story is even correct or if the documentation is even correct, all right? All right, so let's see. And then he says, yeah, but how do you get pregnant women without men? We just said that we all just gonna leave. They gonna be pregnant when they come. Hello, they was, Mr. Steele, some of these bitches is gonna be pregnant. I'm very sure of it. Because, they out here getting pregnant. And guess what they get to do? Now have midwives and things of that nature. That's the other thing. Like, I'm looking at some of the stuff that happened even back in the day. Some comments in this live were protected the community experience. What y'all done said? Because I need to know. Did somebody go over there trying to bully me too? Because every morning somebody trying to bully me. Y'all just be so mad that I'm sitting here beautiful and you just behind the screen in a dark-ass room mad at yourself? Because you ain't even have to be here to comment for them to filter nothing. I'm going to always show up happy, healthy, wealthy, and blessed. Because that's how God intends it. And whether or not you're mad or not, you need to deal with that in yourself, okay? Please and thank you. All right. Now, mind you, I'm coming here with questions because, people can answer. But I guess depending upon how you answer, they saying, shut your ass up. Oh, what you say, Mike? What they said? Why they block you? What they say? What you say? Say it on YouTube so that way I can I can get it. All right, because you know they strict over here. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, but how do you get? Okay, the pregnant women. Oh, are you saying men as in true and real men by definition of a full role of man? Um, so some called facts and opinionated idea that are passed down by other believers of the given opinion. Well, there is probably some men that would actually want to come that I would probably have to, make sure that we looking at what these men have been saying, because quite frankly, I see a lot of men that question, some of what's happening too. And it's just sad that because of the way that maybe we were raised, or because of the way that this society has gone, we just saw how men will say that women are too emotional, but mind you, I told you that's our superpower, right? Whether or not they understand it or not. The reason why we are whatever we are is because we do have emotion, right? But it's a lot of men that have badass opinions that were raised by their grandmom. You can't be mad at your grandmother or be mad at the person who had you that left you. Because, that's a lot of, stories from our culture is, like the moms be doing whatever, and then the grandma, they be being raised by the grandmoms, this and the third. A lot of people, if you go through the community, and I don't know if that's in anybody else's community, because I don't know, but I just know that a lot of the, like Big Mama was a thing, because Big Mama kept the family together, right? But mind you, it'd be funny to me that they'll be mad at the women, but they don't be mad at their daddy for leaving their ass. And then they grow up and they are the same example of their daddy. But the matriarch is the one who held it all together. So to me, it confuses me when, I hear all of this stuff from the men. But mind you, I just said multiple times, the women are the only ones that I keep seeing on social media stepping up. That's it, that's all. And so if y'all want something to change, I said, there was no, okay. That's what I'm saying. So again, that's a story that they say, but we don't know, really the backstory of da 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 until you start checking into your family lineage and things of that nature. So everybody wasn't brought over here as this. Some people were already here. Some people came on their own. Some people, whatever they did is what they did. All right, so we not here to, go into the, but we can, because again, talking about it is what gets, the clarity. All I'm asking is how this relates to this, All right, so back to the story, because we was talking about how the beginning, because quite frankly, I feel like, and one of the things that I just saw today is that they're talking about how they done figured out that how even society right now, how I've been telling y'all, is the same as back there. And now there's documentation that they're finding that is coming out that is showing an evidence as to what I said. That this is still being held on by that. All right? Because I said this is still ancient times. They just made it better. Y'all know how the, the Game of Thrones? The Game of Thrones, the chess pieces that they move around, is because everybody was trying to get their land and trying to, that's what the fight was over. The fight was always over the property, right? Same. But mind y'all, the Game of Thrones is still being played out right now. Little do y'all, even if, hey, welcome, thank you for being here. Even if you don't want to know it, think it, it is. It's the same stuff, right? So in my mind, okay, so Adam had other sons and daughters. That means that Cain and Abel already had sisters born to Adam and Eve. They married their sisters. In ancient biblical world, early humans reproduced within the same immediate family because there was no other families yet. It says, ancient Jewish or historical explanations, ancient Hebrew traditions teaches Adam and Eve had twin daughters with each son. Cain's wife was his twin sister. Cain's wife was his twin sister, Awan, older text. Seth's wife was his sister named Azora. I like her name, that's pretty. None of this is printed in modern Bibles. It appears in ancient texts like the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Adam and Eve. So according to older traditions, their wives came from their own household, their sisters. All right, esoteric, spiritual, or prehistoric view. This speaks more to your, ancient metaphysics and hidden teachings. There were other human tribes already on Earth. Adam and Eve represent a chosen lineage, not the first physical humans. Okay. Now, it says there were other human tribes on Earth, but this speaks to more metaphysics and hidden teachings. So it could or could not be true, is what they're saying, okay? Sarah, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Sarah, I love your name too. Sarah in the Bible, I like her. They also lived longer than humans now is one of the only ways it could work. Okay, I get it. I like it, right? So the thing is, okay, so they symbolize conscious awakening, the birth of divine awareness, a specific soul lineage, not the only humans alive. So Cain's wife came from other people outside of the garden. Clues in Genesis support this. It says, Cain fears others will him. You see what I'm saying? Because again, I caught that too. Because the thing was, when they said Cain left and he went to Eden to build the city, not Eden, when he went to Nod to build the city, Enoch, that's what he said to God. Others will kill him. Who's the others? All right, so there's that, right? Oh, my other tribes could help too. All right, and period. Have an awesome day, everybody. Miss Harmon, we shall reconnect later about my... I got you. Definitely. All right, so he said that. He did say that, right? So that meant there were the others. Cain builds a city, needs population. The Bible never says Adam and Eve were the only humans. So esoteric truth is Adam and Eve were a spiritual initiation, like the initiate lineage, not the first biological humans. So there were other people there, right? Okay. Either way, didn't really care, but wanted to know, right? Because when Cain went to Nod and he built Enoch, the city, named after his son, he then gets accredited with the first civilization, art, metalwork, and all this other stuff, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put it in here again because, we need to know. It said he knew his wife, and that was the question. But anyway, after it goes into that, I was questioning how a cursed man could go and develop a city. I'm blessing the first 5 people who messaged me. God did. Chico, if you over here, get them out too, please. Thank you, because we ain't got time for that. And don't come in here with that, because don't come in here with that. So the next thing was, how does a cursed man build a city? But also then this is where the monetary system came in, right? And then it started to make me wonder, could the curse still be whatever it is that is taking place now? Because if that was the first civilization, then that would be where people thought that they had to now, pay for, housing, food, all of those things. So could Cain's lineage be the curse that is active right here, right now in 2025? That's what I want to know. Because if they started it and they were not supposed to, because he was supposed to be a wanderer, and mind you, a wanderer and a fugitive. And so what they said was that was spiritual. That was supposed to be a spiritual thing, that he would never find any peace, period. Thank you. Because without that, everybody lived in Eden. or around there, or whatever it was. But if there was other people and he was the one that created the very first city, as they're saying. She says, I have Bible knowledge. Okay, let's see. She says, I have biblical knowledge. I'm happily listening to furthers my knowledge. Goes to pop culture. Money ties directly to the curse. Are you saying? Well, it's not the money. It is like the building of the civilization that then created the monetary system is what I'm questioning. Because if this dates back to all the way back there, because for one thing, I never ever realized or knew that Cain is the one that created the first civilization, the first city, the first stone work. I didn't know that. Mind you, I read it. It just, again, one of those things. When you see it is when you're meant to hear it. When you are meant to hear it is when you're meant to see it. So as many times, and I'm sure anybody that has read the Bible, y'all figure out that every time you go back, there's more and there's more, there's more, there's more, and there's more stuff that you uncover, right? And so I've been asking for something, and that is what got dropped in my lap. So that's what's making me wonder. That's why I said, today I'm the student. I'm asking questions out of a genuine, I want to know. I'm not trying to debunk anybody. I'm not trying to say nothing. I am genuinely wanting to know because something is triggering in the system these old stories that, are half told, but literally are playing out into our lives right here, right now. She said, I've been reading the Ethiopian Bible, lots of different info there. If you could share any of it with us in the chat, it would be great. I totally appreciate that. And so, Magnificent Rising. Hey, Majestic Grace. She said, money ties directly to the curse. Are you saying, trade for goods and services makes more sense? Yes, so but that's also the thing, like when things started being built and because remember when they started building those civilizations, all of a sudden they started taxing the smaller people, because y'all do realize the taxes go way, way back before now. So that would say to me that could be the thing that may have initiated the curse. And if we're trying to cure a situation, because again, I told y'all, in order for us to know something or understand something, and if our DNA is saying we already know the story, our DNA just is encoded, and we already know the story because the energy and everything else has already been put there. So when I asked a question and then that very thing got dropped in my lap, and then it started to open up into like, the petals of a flower or something. Like all of a sudden this opened up to this, and then this opened up to this, because then it made me wonder, because when I mentioned Enoch to somebody else, every time I mention Enoch to anybody, they automatically think of the one that got ascended into heaven. But again, that's the same Enoch that keeps being torn apart in this realm based off of, they call it witchcraft and things of that nature. Okay, hold on. Y'all didn't think I was the money altogether. We got to go back to before it became a problem. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So the first time, and this is the other thing. It seems like the amount of curses that got put on the earth at the same time is, also a thing. Because Adam and Eve, and this is where I'm saying, they are trying to cover up the original sin. Whatever the original sin is, and they're trying to put it on Eve, it can't be the original sin. Because there's no way that could be the original sin when the first mistake, the first lie that came out of their mouth was women were pulled from a rib. And then after that, we were, born to have, now we have to have babies. Ain't no way you're going to tell me that. It don't make sense, because you can't put the cart before the horse. Mind you, even in right now, 2025, all the women in every scientific study that they do, even in rats, When the male rats started doing, nasty whatever shit, all the female rats moved to the other side of the glass. They didn't want to fuck with them. So if y'all figure it out that in every species, when the males start to do this, the females start to go the opposite direction. We don't want nothing to do with that. Every species does it. So why is that? It must be that we're genetically coded to try to get away from them the minute they go the opposite direction. The minute they go left, we out of here. So is it not playing in anybody's head right now that there's a lot of women saying they want to get away from the males around here? And although the males can say we are the problem, we saying we'll take it and punish us, like banish us to our own island. Just don't come the fuck over here. Like after y'all banish us, don't come the fuck over here. So we'll take it. Like we not even mad that y'all saying we the problem. We saying, okay, go. And all the women are saying they would go here. Which is crazy to me, because then after the fact, mind you, it's not crazy because I know why they're saying it. But what was also crazy was that the men that also want to have all these boys parties and da-da-da-da-da, they don't want to be here with the own men. Like y'all saying this, but y'all don't want to be your own team. But if we don't want to do the separation thing, then let's figure out how the problem started. Where the manipulation comes in at, because to me, I feel like, even with that being said, the problem starts with y'all. So they said, wasn't there a mistranslation where rib actually meant side? I mean, either way, I know where babies come from. And it ain't nobody's side. It's out of that portal. It's a hole. Ain't no babies coming out nobody's rib. None of that. Like, it's going to come out of our ribs. And maybe that might be the thing. Because that's also weird, too. Because where does the baby always sit? In our fucking ribs. So it keeps being a thing where crisscross applesauce in the upside down world. Like, literally, we live in the upside down world. So everything that was told, flip it upside down, and then there's your truth. It keeps being that. We keep being shown that. And that's weird. Ain't no baby come from out of no man either. Period. So again, have y'all not realized everything that they say? Flip it upside down. And then there's your answer. But I could be wrong, okay? Either way, so y'all ain't got to listen to nothing I said. To me, this is just me going through, the motions. As I said, I'm the student today. These are all my questions. All right? That's why I said, fuck it. Y'all want to argue about it? We can argue about it. But, I don't really want to argue. I just want somebody to enlighten me. Tell me what you know that basically is going to put some sauce on the lies that was told. Because you're not going to make me believe none of this shit. We have to have questions to get the answers. And period. That's what I'm saying. All right. So then they said, I think a lot of it did have to do with mistranslation that was followed up with convenient lies. Well, this is where we always tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Because it could be mistranslation because, as we know, they said a lot of the words that were back there could not be translated into this language. But even that is a problem because this was not our language. Who created that? Where did this language come from the beginning? Because isn't it funny how every black person outside of the United States gets taught multiple languages? Do you realize that it's only us here that really, we got taught English? But mind you, we also know that we would talk without the words. There is, in history, they show pictures of, people that look like me that, or they say they are showing, when we used to say things or, speak out things, that it would create the action right then and there. And we could get them to, by using words and frequencies and tones and things of that nature. So the wording or the words they have given us don't add up. Mind you, now we also have done a thing because, you know, with the culture, we know Ebonics, right? Pig Latin. Like, we will, you know, put some sauce on some shit to make sure that they don't know what the hell we saying, but then, you know, it keeps being a thing. And again, I don't want to do the separation thing of anybody because little do y'all know they was doing it too. All right. Bees, lions, hyenas, and female driven, but animals aren't comparative, I guess. Why are they not? Because you do realize nature, yes, it was telepathy at first. Yes, y'all do realize that nature mimics us, right? Like, even in nature, those synchronicities, those symbols exist in nature. So the animals are the same. They're a part of the universe, a part of Gaia, a part of, you know, Mother Nature. So to me, I feel like looking at them, I just told you about rats. So, you know, I don't see why we wouldn't use bees, lions, and everything else that's female driven. I mean, uncovering the lies is, you know, we got to start with the questions. All right, so I was having an issue because I'm saying a cursed man should not have been allowed to just go around here creating cities and being the first, you know, stone, none of that, right? And how did that happen? Because if then it went into the Nephilim and something else, and they was talking about that. Oh, y'all know they got a new David movie coming out this Christmas. It's a David cartoon. It's AI, I think it is. I'm not sure, but it's a new David movie coming out for Christmas. And so I was asking, that's why he was misaligned. But again, if that's how the stoneworking came about, and if that's how the Masons came about, and that's how we now have houses, buildings, da 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 da, what part is that playing on us? Because consumerism is a thing. All right. So the curse of Cain was not a generational curse on his children. All right. So that's what they're saying. God marked Cain, not his offspring. The mark was protection, not punishment. God said anyone who harmed Cain would be punished sevenfold. So spiritually, Cain's curse did not pass down to his children. It was between him and God. There's zero scripture saying that his descendants were cursed. His bloodline was corrupted. His lineage would be evil. Curses would not last for all generations. None of that. Now, that could be true or not. Okay? Cain's lineage actually built civilization according to Genesis. Cain's son Enoch built a city. His descendants created music, metallurgy, craftsmanship, nomadic culture, early economic systems. Does that remind you of anything now? So, they said that's why he was misaligned. Oh dear. Oh dear. AI should be interesting. The curse that the ground put on Cain is passed down by generation. Well, let's see. We're going to ask somebody else. Is the curse that the ground, well, you saying the ground, but, you know, is the curse that, I'm going to say God, because she said the ground. Is the curse that God put on Cain passed down by generations? Because she's saying that, but God didn't say that. God said you are cursed. But as you know, the sins of the mother and father. So we're assuming, so let's just see. Is the curse that God put on Cain passed down by generations? The curse on Cain is often interpreted as having generational implications. While the curse itself is primarily a personal punishment for Cain's actions, it is believed to have affected his descendants, leading to a lineage associated with violence and rebellion against God. Cain's actions included the murder of his brother Abel are seen as rejection of God's commandments, which may have influenced his descendants' behavior. Some interpretations suggest that Cain's curse was not just a personal mark, but also a broader warning to indicate that his lineage carries the consequences of his actions. The narrative of Cain's descendants highlights the moral and spiritual repercussions of his choices, suggesting that the curse has indeed passed down through generations. Thus, the curse on Cain is viewed as having both personal and generational implications, reflecting a broader theme of the divine justice and biblical narratives. Okay, now that could be true or not, okay? Because again, both sides, because we're gonna play devil's advocate and we're not gonna hold on to anything. You have to know what feels right for you. Anyway, because that's not what God said, but this is, it could be true. Because again, the sins of the mother and father, right? But for all intents and purposes, we'll say we're gonna take it, right? And see what happens. Because we're gonna have to get down to the bottom of some things. And I don't know about y'all, but like I said, I got questions. Because technically, and this is where I'm about to debunk you, right? Regardless of the fact. If in fact that it actually had spiritual implications, then ain't no fucking way they would have been able to build that city as well as they did for it to continue to keep carrying on. So was he cursed or not? Because they are credited with civilization. So that right there could say that that ain't true, because as you know, you're not getting shit if you're not blessed. If you're cursed, ain't no way 938 or 36 years old or something. She's the oldest person in the Bible. But Methuselah came after them also, and she lived longer than Cain, so that's another thing. All right, so hold on, let me finish what they said, and I'm gonna go with after I put that in. So it says, genetically no, spiritually only as a mental and emotional pattern. The curse isn't a bloodline; it's a state of wounded consciousness. Humanity keeps repeating. Okay, well, we definitely know it keeps repeating. So when we heal those patterns, we break what people call the Cain curse. All right, so I put in everything that it said. It says, I hear exactly what you're saying, and you're repeating the traditional interpretation that many pastors and teachers have shared. But it's important to separate what the Bible actually says from later human interpretation that's added layers the text never stated. Because again, we going on what they put in there, and this is why I said we're only going to go on what they said. We don't want to make up nothing, okay? So here we go. It says what the Bible actually says about Cain's curse. Genesis says Cain was cursed from the ground, meaning farming would fail for him. Cain was exiled from his family, but then he went and, created one. So again, that's a curse, but Cain was exiled from his family. God placed a mark on Cain to protect him from being killed, period. Mind you, this motherfucker said period. There is no verse saying his descendants were cursed, his children inherited the curse, or his lineage became evil. There is nothing in there that says that. And we have to go on the facts. And the facts are, it didn't say that. All right? If we read the Bible, it didn't say that. This is the sauce and the salt in the game. All right? Either way, I ain't say it and I ain't do it. I'm just wanting to know something because something's not adding up for me. And also, I want to know something that's happening right the fuck now. All right. So, the curse is only directed at Cain himself, not his bloodline. The Bible never says Cain's children were cursed. In fact, the Bible shows the opposite. Is what I'm trying to tell y'all why something is not adding up. Because the Bible shows something different. All right? It says, Cain's descendant includes builders, musicians, craftsmen, innovators. Genesis 17 and 22 presents them as culture creators. There's no statement that says they were evil, they were cursed, they were further from God than anyone else. There's nothing in there that says that. That idea came later from people, not the scripture. And again, we ain't gonna talk about what we think. We're gonna talk about what they wrote in there, okay? So the generational curse idea came from human interpretations, not the Bible. Over time, people added layers to the story to explain violence in the world, human rebellion, spiritual decline. Now, I'm going to take that right there and says that even though it says the Bible never said it, I'm going to have to also say that, because I'm going to be people, and if they created the first civilization where it was important to have, you know, shekels or shackles or what they call them things back in the day, coins or gold or whatever, if you create that, you also create violence. You also create crime. So playing devil's advocate, I can see where one thing would beget or create the other thing. All right? Because if you create a system of, you know, oh, you got to have this type of house, you got to do this, you got to do that, I'm going to have to say that you kind of cause and effect, okay? That's what that is. It's cause and effect. All right? Let's see. Over time, people added layers to the story to explain the violence in the world, human rebellion, spiritual decline. But these interpretations were symbolic and moral lessons. And moral lessons, not genealogical facts, right? There's no more genetic or spiritual transmission named in Genesis. The curse passed to descendants belief became dangerous. Historically, this interpretation was used to justify racism, oppression, exclusion, false doctrines about certain groups. None of that is in the original text. That is why it's important to correct the record. All right. So then it says, what is true? Cain's pattern can be generational. There is a spiritual truth, though, that the curse did not pass to his descendants. The pattern can be patterns like violence, jealousy, wounded masculine energy. Spiritual rebellion, separation from the inner guidance. These patterns can repeat in families, communities, or societies, not because of bloodline, but because of consciousness. Same thing. What is it? This is what you're sensing in 2025, not Cain's biology repeating, but Cain's consciousness repeating. Same shit to me. Meaning, when anger goes unhealed, when people live disconnected from the soul, when jealousy becomes violence, when people feel spiritually exiled, these are Cain-like outcomes. This is energetic, not genetic. Y'all, everything in me is telling me Cain, like, even though I'm reading what they said, I'm telling y'all, my gut is telling me that Cain, that what happened back then in that area, in that garden, or with his brother, we are still suffering the consequences of that. Because I hear what they saying. But if they were the ones that created, it's cause and effect. It's like what I told y'all about the, you know, Chinese people putting the solar panels. And again, we don't know if that's true either, but when they put the solar panels in the desert, and then, you know, it worked for, you know, what they needed for the people, and, you know, them getting the power and everything else, and out of a need created something else, or out of a necessity created something else. It's cause and effect. So they needed sustainable power. They put solar panels there. The solar panels were, you know, being covered by the dust storms. The dust, they needed something to clean the screens. So they added in windshield wipers, which also now added in water, which now added, you know, to the desert now being watered on a daily basis, which added now to life sprouting up and growing, which added to now this has to be dealt with because the grass is getting too high, which added to, you know, after the fact of them trying to get people to mow it on, now it's too expensive, so we got to find a cheaper way to do this. So now we put the goats out into the desert, and, you know, the goats don't know no better, so they out there eating all the grass, but also they don't die, they multiply, so now the goat population turns out to be, you know, ridiculous. Like, it's one thing after the other. All right. So, in the process of this, right? Let me grab some tissue, y'all, real quick. I don't know why I just don't bring the shit when I come. Like, in the process of all of these things, right? Cause and effect, and even to where you're seeing that it is still playing out, even right now, right? In order for us to fix something or heal something, we have to know where it came from and how it became even a thing, right? All right, so let's see. Let me see what y'all saying. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank y'all being here. Okay, so Honorary Celestial Unicorn says, every time, enough time to learn how to build a city, and just because you're cursed doesn't mean that. All right, so 11 in the curse of art, thou from the ground, which hath opened their mouth and received the blood of my brother from thy hand. The curse that the ground put on Cain, the curse that God put on Cain, because God told him that he is cursed, but could live back then in 200 years. How was Methuselah? High honor, enough time to learn how to build cities. Just because you're cursed doesn't mean that you can't be successful at other things. Curses affect the aspect of your life that don't ruin everything. To be a wanderer, if you get cursed to be a wanderer and a fugitive, your ass ain't building shit. So I don't know what you're talking about, because how the fuck you gonna build something if you're a fugitive? Fugitives are always on the run. So let's see what the etymology of fugitive is, okay? Because I don't know what the hell you talking about. I mean, you could be saying whatever you're saying, but, you know, you could believe whatever you want to believe. I ain't judging. All right, so, fugitive means to flee or to run away. So someone who flees or escapes, especially from danger or law, a person escaping legal capture, a person who is on the run. So how does a person that's on the run be blessed to build a city? Although, you know, they said his son built the city, so maybe that's also the thing. We could be giving him credit on him for something, because, again, so that could be the thing. He didn't do it. We don't even know if he lived there, okay? So that's another thing. His son is accredited for it, all right? But it came from Cain, all right? Either way, ain't no fugitive building shit. Because how? You know, figure it out. And like I said, sometimes it just takes, like, because I have critical thinking. I can think, like, this word don't mean that, or it don't, like, it just don't mean that. So, Cain was cursed from the ground. Jonathan was cursed. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about there. Who plays what? See, this is where I have to do this, because literally you just must be wanting some attention, because literally I don't even know what you're talking about. And like, if you're gonna be helpful, but if you're not gonna be helpful, I don't want to hear it, because I'm asking real questions. I ain't got time for bullshit. And y'all people be wanting too much attention. Yesterday people wanting fucking attention. Today people wanting fucking attention. I ain't your mom. I'm really trying to figure out something here, and I ain't got time for the lies, all right? So it's enough of that. I'm talking to AI, they lying. I'm talking to Google, they lying. Now I'm talking to these bitches, and they lying. Like, I ain't got time for that. All right. So back up to the top. And anybody that want to help and make sense, Abel's blood cried from the ground. Yes, that's what it said. That's how God knew that he killed him, because he was looking for him, and his blood cried from the ground. That's what it said. And again, we only gonna go on what they wrote and what they said, because I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about other than what they said, because this is what is being put out into the universe. All right. So now, going back, he created a city, or his son. So let me see. Let me go back to make sure, because now they done fucking, you know, then corrupted everything. Who the fuck created the city? Him or his daddy? All right, now, because this is important, like, for real. Especially if they are the ones that are being accounted for. You know what I mean? Because if anybody understands the where I'm going with this, it transpires and goes over to now, because that was the system that was created that keeps being the loop, the loop, the loop, the loop, the loop that keeps being played out. And I don't want to be a part of it. And like I said, if free will is a thing, then that means I get to say, I don't want to be a part of the loop. I need to know where it began. And I'm not going to just listen to what somebody said or what somebody wants me to believe, because I'm not doing that. I have a mind of my own. And I'm not going to get nobody to try to force me into thinking nothing. Like, everybody can believe what they want to believe. I want to know the truth. That's what I want to know. And I can handle the truth. My mind ain't gonna go around and make up, oh, they was really meaning. My mind don't do that. My mind says, this what the fuck happened. This what it was. This what was written. I need to know that. I don't care about the other, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get that that's what a lot of y'all want to do. I'm not that. So we're gonna talk about what is here. Know what the hell is the truth, and how do we get beyond whatever this is? Like, all that extra shit don't seem like it don't do nothing but distract from what the fuck we talking about, and it's weird. So I don't want to do that. Everybody want to continue to circle around the fucking problem. Bitch, I don't got time for that. I'm trying to go on and get to the where I need to be. I got gardening in my system. I got laughing in my system. I got let's figure out. My friend is fermenting shit right now. I got let's have some wine that we made in my system. Like, I don't got time for all the trauma bonding. Like, and it feel like if that was where it started and that's where y'all put it at, and that's how the beginning got to here, that's all I need to know, okay? Everything else is irrelevant. Y'all talk about it on y'all channel, and I promise I won't come over there and type nothing in the chat. I promise you I won't. So there's that. I don't know why y'all be wanting to watch me, and then y'all got time to come over here and fucking try to, you know, put up, like, if you trying to get people from over here, honey, all you gotta do is do your own work. Go sit on your channel at 8:15 every fucking morning, and then I'm sure somebody will come fucking watch it. But it ain't gonna be me. Because I ain't got time to go put nothing in nobody's chat. I ain't going to go talk to nobody all unprovoked. Unless my spirit say this is what it is, I promise you I ain't going to put nothing in your motherfucking chat. I ain't going to message you back. Like, people be trying to get me to talk to them so bad. I don't want to talk to you. I just don't. Like, literally, unless you make sense to me, all that other shit don't do nothing but wreck my fucking brain and piss me the fuck off. Because, bitch, why? Miss Kelly, awesome question with great information and feedback. Miss Kelly, what you say? Miss Kelly always got something good to say. Katrina, thank you for making sure that I seen Miss Kelly's comment, because this bitch was writing all types of other shit. Talking about a whole bunch of nothing. Just trying to get on my nerves. That's the same hoe that was in here yesterday lying. And thank you for showing up, but don't show up over here with the bullshit, okay? Because you're going to get cussed the fuck out. And I don't know why ain't nobody told you. Honey, I got friends that I talk to that done been on this channel, talk to them every fucking day on FaceTime. Cuss them bitches out too. So I don't know where y'all be getting off. I am not it. Like, I was raised during a different time that don't have time for that shit. Miss Kelly, where you at? I think a lot. Miss Kelly, where you at? What she say, Katrina? Where Miss Kelly at? I don't even see Miss Kelly on here. Miss Kelly, your comment must have got really, like, buried under a bunch of bullshit. I see her say happy Friday. Miss Kelly, I'm sorry. You know I wouldn't have missed a comment from you, honey. But apparently it must not be on here because I don't see it. Anyway, so let's go back. Katrina, what she say? Because I don't see it. It got buried. Like, that girl wrote in here 9,000 times. And all I see is view deleted message from all the shit that I just deleted out of here. That's all I said. Tell Katrina, Miss Kelly, I love them. Majestic Grace says she love y'all. She over on TikTok handling business for me. Because, you know, they be trolling me over there too, girl. All right. So anyway, we got to go back to Gilgamesh because Gilgamesh started the thing today, right? And so we talking about the amount of a person and why. And so maybe mathematically it could be the amount of people that it take to be able to, which I still don't get. Okay, so that's another thing. And like I said, today I'm being a student, and if anybody want to talk some sense and they got direct, this is what it says, I'm willing to listen. But don't add in all that extra fluff from the Christian folks, because I told y'all, born and raised, I already had questions from them. And I don't have time. All right? Because I just don't got time. She was greeting me, and I was just letting her know how good this thing was getting up in here. Oh, period. Okay. All right. So, all right. Sorry, Katrina. Let me start your business then. There's always stimulating conversation in all your lot. Man, listen, today I'm on purpose. I'm on assignment, okay? And the assignment is, how did this happen? And then how we got to here. Because why is it that, again, I never even correlated that Enoch was the one that created civilization. So when I heard Enoch, I only ever correlated one Enoch, the one that got ascended into heaven. I never realized there was discrepancy. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to ask. So if anybody knows, what is the time frame, the timelines, this is what we do minus the bullshit and period. So what is the timeline is between these two Enochs? Did they both exist at the same time? Because it almost seems like the Enoch, okay, so was the Nephilim around? Was it, because they had to have been, because remember we talked about when it said they okay, that they saw the daughters of man, they saw them and they were beautiful, right? And that's what they taught them. So it would seem like, yes, that's where it would come from. Okay, so it says the short answer, yes, the Nephilim were already beginning to appear in the world around the time of Enoch, Cain's son, and shortly after. So let's break it down so you understand exactly how the timeline lines up, because this is what I want to know about the timeline, okay? And again, I'll go to Google and put that in there too, because we're going to reference a couple different places, because you already know we can't trust fucking AI. I already told y'all that. I like AI for what AI does, but also y'all know we can't trust their asses, because I keep telling y'all, I keep catching this bitch lying, okay? So Genesis 4:17 says, Cain knew his wife, she conceived and bore Enoch, and he built a city. This Enoch is not the later Enoch who walked with God. This is Cain's son, part of the first human expansion outside of Eden. This was early in human history. When do the Nephilim first appear? So the Nephilim first appear in Genesis 6:1-4, introduces the Nephilim. They appear when the sons of God, Bene Elohim, Elohim, Bene Elohim, came down. They took wives among the human women. Their children became the Nephilim. This happened before the flood, but long after Cain's generation. This happened long before the flood, but long after Cain's generation. All right, so does that read right? That don't read right. This happened before the flood, but long after. Okay, so the Nephilim appeared during the era of Adam's later grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Not at the very beginning, but were they around the same generation? Okay, so it's not picking up. All right, so the Nephilim, so did they have any influence on Cain's sons? Because y'all, then also that's not gonna make sense, all right? And I'm gonna tell y'all why. So because y'all not remember when it said when they saw the daughters of men and they thought they were beautiful, so then when they came down here they started teaching them all of this other stuff. Okay, so and here is the deepest, clearest answer, and it connects beautifully with ancient texts in the book of Enoch. The spiritual patterns you're exploring. Short answer, indirectly, the Nephilim and more importantly, the Watchers who created them eventually influenced Cain City and its culture. But the Nephilim themselves were not yet physically present when Cain's son Enoch first built the city. Indirectly, yes, the Nephilim and more importantly, the Watchers who created them eventually influenced Cain City and its culture later. So what was, okay, so I'm wondering what was there during the time. Did he just build the city? So this is what we do. Yes, humans, we are another level to angels. All right, so however, the forces, beings, and energies that later produced the Nephilim were already moving towards Earth during that era. Let's break it down. So Cain City was built early. So Adam had Cain, and then Cain's son Enoch built the city. This is before most of humanity existed. This was a time of new technology, new tools, early agriculture, early human civilization forming. No Nephilim existed yet to this point. But something else was happening. Okay, what? What was the something else? It says, and I'm going to go back because it didn't elaborate on that, okay? It just dropped it right there, like as if they didn't think that we want to fucking know. All right, so and then it says, too, the Watchers were already watching. So they were already looking, you know, overlooking, but they hadn't influenced, is I guess. The Book of Enoch, Jubilees, and ancient Mesopotamian texts, which match Genesis, say the sons of God, the Watchers, were already observing humanity, waiting for the population to grow, planning their descent. Their interference began before the Nephilim were born, okay? So spiritually, Cain City existed under the shadows of beings who were influencing. Oh, so they were influencing them. So this is my thing. If they got, when was the time of the wood, like the metal working and things of that nature? Was that something that they were just, because it says they were influencing. So that means they could have been dropping little whispers in their ears and things of that nature, telling them to do, you know, this, or this is how you go about that. Is that how that basically goes? Because that's what it seems like to me. But because if he already had the new technology, he already had the new tools, early agriculture, then it's still, the timelines are still off. I mean, am I wrong? Am I picking it up wrong or something? Or is that the truth? Okay. Because that's what I'm wanting to know. Then it says Cain's line was especially vulnerable. Here's the part most people miss. Hey, son. What time are you supposed to be going? Huh? Okay. Cain's descendants were known for rebellion, innovation, forging new technologies, building cities, creating weapons, developing music. But mind you, this is the stuff that they said that the Watchers came down here and they told, because I'm gonna look Google the Watchers too, because I need to know now, because they said in the book is when they were the ones that was influencing them, like, you know, showing the women makeup and all this other extra shit, right? Again, I could be crossing the shit over, but either way, I'm still focused on them building that city and those cities now continuing to be a thing even into now 2025. Because why was that not ever discussed? All right, so, and it also says they were rejecting divine instruction, but again, I'm going to ask it another thing, because y'all don't forget AI be lying, okay? Because it literally just told us something else, and I feel like I just caught it again telling me a lie. All right, so we're gonna ask somebody else. This matches perfectly with the things that the Watchers later introduced. See what I'm saying? Weapon technology, enchantments, astrology, spirit communication, sorcery, glamour magic, mind control, cosmetics and beauty enhancements, warfare. Cain's line and the Watchers had compatible energy, rebellion, innovation, separation from divine law. This is where the ancient texts often say Cain's lineage was the first to be influenced by the fallen angels. But how was he the first to be? If it was already existing, a lot of the stuff that they're saying seems like it was already existing. So it must have been their influence, I guess, that was taking place over the top part, I guess. I don't know. Either way, do y'all not see, like, is it not saying like the timelines are doing something weird already too? Because that's what I feel like. It feels like the timeline's still not adding up. When the Nephilim finally appeared, those are the kids. Yes, alchemy, technology, and are progressive. But this is also the thing where the other Enoch was, remember it said getting like divine knowledge and this things of that nature coming from God. So maybe it just needs to be laid out a little bit different, and maybe I just need to see it because y'all know I got to get a board or something, and this is how I do things. Like I literally have to see it visually in order for it to, you know, kind of make sense, or, you know, somebody needs to explain it better because this ain't adding up. Something's still off. But anyway, like I said, the major part goes from how they, I just know the book be leaving shit out like big gaps of time. That's what I'm saying. Majestic Grace is saying what I'm saying. Like, it's big gaps of time that is not adding up. So it could almost make you think that this ran simultaneously. But they're saying that they had already built this city before these people, before the influence of, well, okay, so I don't know why I want to use the word Nephilim. The Nephilim are the kids, the Watchers. So we want to use the Watchers. So maybe it might be that I'm using the wrong term. So the Watchers were the one that were already watching and influencing. So maybe that might be where, so does this not seem like, and I don't want to use this word, but if we got the bad angels already influencing the first, you know, and now we got 2025. You see what I'm saying? So we got the Watchers, and then, you know, the one that built the cities and started now to influence, oh, y'all could, you know, have the comforts of not being outside in these tents, or, you know, instead of, you having to, you know, be outside in open air, or, you know, however they was building shit. But now we're building actual cities and things of that nature. Like, everybody want a house. So if we build the first house, you got a good house, we got to build everybody else a house too. So now who comes in line for the houses? So you got to remember how things go up. One building has to go up, and then another building has to go up, and then another building has to go up, and then another building has to go up. But we need people to help build these buildings. You see what I'm saying? So who gets precedence? Whose house gets built first? Of course, it would probably be theirs, since they was the ones that went over here to do it. But where are y'all getting these people from to help? Because, you know, even if there were people that existed, what was the agreement? It's like, even if the women go to do whatever we gonna do, okay, we can all take, you know, whatever, the huts and this, that, and the third. But if we decide that we want to now have, you know, this, that, or the third, it still has to be community. It still has to be something else. So all I'm saying is this: if Cain got his ass kicked out, and then he went into, you know, building a house, building civilization and cities, and then we got the evil, you know, the Watchers is what they gonna call them, now influencing the shit, and now we have now. It got to be the curse. It still has to be whatever it was that they did at that time is still playing out, and it's existing. So what if, because we talking about, for shits and giggles is all I'm gonna say, right? We use the actual doctrine that they wrote, right? And we know that he left, he went to Nod. We know that he created Enoch. They built the city. And then we would have to roll it over from time after time after time after time. And we would have to assume, because now we see the world is bigger, there's more buildings and everything else, right? It's giving me, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because if Eden was where all the fruits and this, that, and the third was, and then everybody got kicked out, this would have to be hell. Or this would have to be cursed land. And so it confuses the crap out of me. So now that might be also why they would be fighting, because remember I said we got the Game of Thrones. They fight over land. They fight over property. They fight over anything that, you know, could make them $1. So Eden would have to be the place that, you know, probably all the women would need to be, you know, finding or locating, or that we would be at, because, you know, that would be the good lands. That would be where the fruits and all of that stuff would be growing naturally and everything else. So if everybody got kicked out of Eden, where the fuck is Eden? Because clearly we're in Cain's land. They were the one that built the civilization. These are the civilizations. Where is Eden at? Is that over there where they don't want us to cross over? You know what I'm saying? Where they keep saying we made this deal or whatever the fuck. No, this is what they brokered with all of the places that we can't go there. But everybody also, y'all. Would that be the reason why they say you can't cross over into those places? Because they already know that the land of Nod, where the wanderers and the fugitives, is in here. I mean, somebody talk to me. Because literally, that's what it seemed to be adding up to. And it also seems to be that if that is the case, then that means that the split, that means there's something else over here that is definitely where we would want to be, the people who don't want to be a part of this. And of course, they would want to hold you into this system and in this society because that's what I'm saying. She said, I'm blown, my mind blown because that would sound right. Y'all, I told you it's been a thing. Like when I start asking for shit just start coming. And if Cain built the cities, and these are the cities, and they all got kicked out of Eden, they want to, remember I said Maze Runner? I'm not a part of this system. I don't want to be a part of the system. And this is why they want to keep holding you in here. And remember the man showed up at gunpoint and said, we are a part of the maze. I'm not a part. Ain't no way I can be a part of this system. Because it's not right. And if this is how the curse happened, mind you, the information is right there. And mind you, all we got to go back and look at it. So where is Eden? It can't be none of these places. And on that map, it can't be none of them places. It would have to be somewhere where they're trying to restrict everybody from going because this is where the bullshit's at. And ain't nobody gonna tell me that, like, it's not adding up. Hamster is definitely running backwards right now. You see what I'm saying? She said my hamster is definitely running backwards right now. Y'all, I mean, like I said, I'm the student today. So if anybody got anything they want to give that is a part of what they said and not some, you know, pastor ass shit from, you know, we just adding shit, because this is what they said. These are the people that, you know, created civilization. This is the civilization. This is what it ran into. The watchers were already affecting, you know, whatever was happening. This place keeps being. So I don't know. I could be wrong. All I know is I know that I'm right about this shit not being right. I'm definitely right about that. I'm definitely right about, I know I don't belong in this system because every day there's no way. Like, I would wake up and I would do better things. I would wake up and I would do better things. So you mean to tell me that the people who wake up every day that are in control of the system, all they feel like doing is suppressing, hindering, kill, steal, and destroy. Everything that you ever told me that is a mark of the beast or a sign of the beast is what they have been telling me. Kill, steal, destroy. This is all I see these people do. Could the answer be in the apple? Well, it was never an apple. That's the other thing. That's another thing where people got everything mixed up. So let me, because I'm gonna go over here. What was the fruit? Because it wasn't an apple. They lied about that too. I remember seeing it somewhere a long time ago. Like I told y'all, I got notes that I might go find one of my old notebooks. Like, cause one time, y'all, I needed God so bad that I literally started doing genealogy. Like this person begat this person begat that person, this person begat this person. Like I was watching the fucking what's that channel with that lady with that big fucking hair, that the church channel? I was watching all that shit, like literally, and that's all I did. I stayed in my room and I prayed my ass off. Okay, it worked. Let's go beneath the surface of the Eden story, the literal, symbolic, spiritual, and ancient meanings, because the fruit was never just a piece of produce. Short answer, there's no evidence that the fruit was an apple. In ancient language and mystical traditions, the fruit is not a plant, but an action, an exchange, a knowledge transfer, and a violation of divine order. Literal, the Hebrew word used is peri. Fruit, result, outcome, produce. It does not name a specific plant in ancient Jewish tradition. It could have been a fig, a pomegranate, a grape, something not from the earth at all. But the point of the story is not the biological fruit. It's symbolic, meaning knowledge, basically. Knowledge that accelerates human consciousness before the soul is ready. In Hebrew thoughts, fruit means the result of a union, the produce of interaction, the outcome of a choice. So the fruit that equals consequences of merging with a forbidden intelligence. This aligns with symbolism of the Kabbalah, Sumerian myth, Gnostic text, Book of Enoch. None of them treat the fruit as food. The moment we bit that fruit was when we came into knowing. No, I feel like that's a lie too. I feel like the moment, whatever that symbolizes, is when we stop knowing. That's what I think. Because why so much information being hidden? That's what the way I feel. Again, remember, we're an upside down world. So they told us that we would have understanding when we bit into the fruit. But meanwhile, we don't understand shit. Everything over here is a fucking lie. So to me, I don't agree. See, my thing, it was always about the understanding spiritual law to know more about the power than the people. And that was what we was always talking about. Yes, power of choice. But guess what? Do y'all not see how that fruit symbolizes no power, no choice? Do y'all not hear me saying, if free will is a thing, I want out of this system. I don't want to die because I love my life. I love my vessel. I want to stay in my vessel. So I'm telling this system, I'm not a part of it. I don't want to die, but I'm not a part of this system. So if free will is a thing, I want out of whatever the fuck this is and put me in the system where I already said I know I'm meant to flourish. So we're an upside down world. So they told you that when you bit that, then it was you was going to gain wisdom and understanding. You not wiser and we're not fucking understanding. So there's that. So again, if we had choices, Miss Kelly, would you choose to be in this fucking funky ass system? No, you wouldn't. That could also be why all the women feel the same exact way, because we understand there's something better than this. Something's not right. And that's all I'm going to tell y'all. Like, I don't know what to say. All I know is I can feel that it is not fucking right. And normally, all right, so y'all, I got to accept these because literally it's also a part of my points and shit. So we going to accept it, and we don't know what he going to say or what he going to be talking about. But guess what? We're going to turn this shit down. They be over here doing a bunch of stuff. And I don't even know. Y'all, I need to figure out how to get these people off my channel when they be showing up too and everything. Adjust your camera to show your upper. She hung up. They're over there doing something. But I got to accept the things because literally I'm doing something on my live. I know. Abby Grace. How you doing? Are you playing music or anything? Huh? Because I can't hear you because I had to turn you down because I'm streaming on another platform. Anyway, so Miss Kelly said, whoa, excellent point. I mean, like I said, we have to use our thinking caps, and our thinking caps say that they keep hiding everything. So you can't say that if I bite this apple, now I got condemned, now I got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because, you know, we know so much because we don't know shit. And they hide every fucking thing they can over here. That's why I would like to go to the place where we get knowledge and information. We're getting it now, but in slow doses. No, sir, I need for everything to be truthful. Loving this. So where is Eden? No, I don't want to be here. That's what I'm saying. That also means, that's what that would mean to me. That when everybody got kicked out of Eden, we got pushed over here into the system of Cain's shit. Remember, I've been asking. How many years have I been asking for Cain? Remember, I've been asking for Cain since 2022, right or wrong? Yes, I have been. And so in the process of that, you ask, you knock, and you shall, keep knocking. The answers start to drop into your lap. And from everything that I'm seeing, if the beginning is the beginning, then the beginning is how we got here. The beginning says, this man did this, and then he did this, and this is the result of cause and effect. And it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. It's a loop. I don't like the loop. Oh, everybody that is over here, can y'all make sure y'all tap that screen, because he wants to battle. And so when you do the battle, y'all got to keep tapping the screen, please and thank you. Majestic Grace, if you over there, tap the screen, please and thank you, because literally that's what that is. I got to beat him to get him off my screen. Either way. So to me, y'all, I mean, I could be wrong, but until somebody else comes up with something that makes sense, you have been mentioning Cain. Yes, because I asked the question. I want to know what is happening and why that is happening and why we are right here. It's the other side on TikTok. We on TikTok with it. So tap the screen on TikTok. I see y'all doing it over here too, but yes, tap the screen over here, but we on TikTok with it. So tap the screen, please, and thank you. Y'all go ahead and knock him out the box real quick. Go ahead and just tap the screen. That's all y'all got to do. How you doing? He over here looking at me like, bitch. So, Miss Kelly, I've been mentioning Cain, that also would mean that is Cain still, on his reign? Because if Cain still is on his reign, then that would also mean Cain might be one of them families, because y'all keep talking about these families. Could that be Cain's? Because listen, they would have to know a lot, the ins and outs of everything that's happening right now, in order for them to stay in control for this long. I mean, if you are a man that is not allowed to, and it didn't say that he wasn't allowed to die, but from what I read, I thought I seen that he wasn't allowed to, but nobody was allowed to, do this to him. But nobody was allowed to do this to him because he had to be punished, I guess, I thought. So again, more of a, I don't know. All I know is if they created early civilizations, this is the curse. Right now, we're all walking, talking inside of whatever Nod, the Wanderer, that city. Can y'all tap that screen over here, please, and thank you, because y'all got to tap the screen. That way it'll push it out. If you tap the screen, y'all will see that it'll start to do a thing. So, I don't know, Miss Kelly. All I know is I got questions that need answers, and I need somebody that, can talk to me. And, like, what they wrote, like, whatever they wrote, or you show me, and I don't want no new shit that, you know what I mean? Oh, somebody, because y'all know I don't believe them either. But they've been pushing this for a long time. That means that they've been trying to keep hold on to, or at least something in it, to make sure that they, didn't forget it, okay? So there's that. Y'all not tapping that screen for me. Y'all letting him, he done got a hat over here, y'all. He doing a whole bunch of stuff. Y'all letting him beat me. But either way, y'all, that's the message. So that's all I got for y'all right now. Other than that, that's it. That's all. All right, so y'all, I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later. And I'm still on TikTok, though, just so y'all know.